The materials and the tools we will be using: a 3.25 crochet hook, a large eye tapestry needle that'll work for the thread we're going to be using, a pair of scissors, and here I have Paton's crochet cotton thread called Grace. It is a size 3 yarn or cotton thread. It's about the size of a baby yarn, but it's all cotton. That's what we're looking for. To make our mask, we're going to be doing 2 halves. So I'm going to show you how to do 1 half. The second half will be exactly the same, and then we will sew them together. So let's start with a slip knot on our hook and our 6-inch tail. Let's chain 11. Please continue. I will meet you after you chain 11. Skip your first chain. In your second chain, single crochet. I pick up 2 parts of my chain. You notice the chain has 3 parts. I pick up 2 parts. Consider using those 2 parts instead of just one. To me, the one stretches the loop out and doesn't give a nice finish. In this row, we're going to do 10 single crochets. I've done 4. Continue to the end of the row. Chain 2 and turn your work. Half double crochet in the next 10 stitches across, 1 per stitch. At the end of the row, chain 2 and then do 2 more rows of half double crochet, 10 per row. Please pause your video. I will meet you there. Chain 3 and let's turn our work. We're going to double crochet in the first 6 stitches. Number 5 and number 6. Going to skip the next stitch, and in that next stitch we're going to place our shell, which is 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. As we do this, I will refer to the 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets as our shell. We're going to skip our next stitch. We have 1 stitch left, 1 double crochet. Chain 3 and turn our work. In our chain 1 space, we're going to place our shell. the previous row shell, we're going to skip 2, and in the third one we're going to place 2 double crochets. I know that's something you normally don't do, but because this is for a face mask, we're trying to close in as much as possible. And then 1 double crochet to the end of the row, chain 3, and I'll meet you there. Moving on, we're going to double crochet in the first 7 stitches. I will meet you right here. In our next stitch, we're going to place 2 double crochet. We're going to go all the way to our chain 1 and place in our shell. After our shell, we're going to place 1 double crochet, the shell of the 3 from the previous row. We're going to go right into the third one. We're not going to go into the top of the chain. We're going to go into that third one. And this is what we have so far. So let's chain 3 and turn our work. I have a confession to make. A lot of times you see me stopping so quickly. It's because my yarn gets tangled. I pulled out an ample amount, but sometimes it just doesn't want to cooperate. So we're going to go ahead and shell in our chain 1 space. Okay, coming up on our 3rd double crochet. All right, skip 2 double crochets into the 3rd one, 2 double crochets. One double crochet till the end of the row. Chain 3, turn your work. Over the next 8 stitches, 1 double crochet. And then I will meet you there. Yes, my yarn tangled up again. In our next stitch, we have 3 left before our shell. We're going to place 2 double crochet, the next stitch gets 1 double crochet, and then the next one gets 2. Continue with your shell and the double crochet in the 3rd double crochet, chain 3, and I'll meet you there. So after our chain 3, we'll do our shell, in our first stitch, after we skip the 2 2 double crochet, 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 2 double croc In our next stitch, 2 double crochet. One double crochet per stitch the rest of the row. Chain 3, and let's turn our work. We're getting a nice edging here. So in the first 13 stitches, let's place 1 double crochet per stitch. Continue till you get to 13 stitches. After the 13, we have 3 stitches left. 2 double crochet in the one stitch. The next one gets 1 double crochet, and that third one gets 2 double crochet. Shell in the chain 1 space, double crochet in that third double crochet of the shell. Chain 3, and I'll meet you there. Remember our chain 3 and shell. The increase on this particular row after our shell will be a little bit different. Trying to get a little bit more curvature for our nose so that we can still have this nice decorative edge. So after skipping the first 2 double crochets of the previous row, in that third one we're going to place 3 double crochets. In the next stitch, 2 double crochets, one double crochet to the end of the row, chain 3. And this is what we have so far. We're almost there. So in the first 19 stitches, we're going to do 1 double crochet per stitch. After our 19 double crochets, you should have 3 stitches left. Next, we'll do 2 double crochet, one double crochet in the next stitch, and 3 in that next stitch. Continue on with the shell in the chain 1 space and double crochet in that third double crochet of the previous row, and then chain 3. We're almost halfway. Okay, so we're going to shell in our shell, chain 1 space, and then skipping those 2, and in the third double crochet, 3 double crochets, 2 in our next stitch, then 1 double crochet down to the rest of the row, chain 3, and then turn, and that will be our final row after we add on those next stitches to conform to the curve. Alright, for our last row on this side, you can stay seated now, no jumping and hollering yay. Okay, so we're going to do 20 double crochets, and when we get down to that other end down here, I'll show you what to do. So 20 double crochets. Okay, so after the 20, we're going to do 2 half double crochets, two single crochets, and 1 slip stitch. And this is the shape that we have. I'm going to go ahead and cut it. Okay, so we'll have our curvature for our nose and down to our mouth. We need to make a second one. So if you want to get started, chain 11, 10 single crochets, chain 2, 10 half double crochets. You want to do the half double crochets for a total of 3 rows. And I'll put a time thing on there where we can start on the next row. That will start with the shell and the 6 double crochets. So go ahead and do that, and I'll see you in a few minutes. Please pause your video. Isn't the magic of video awesome? Okay, so for our first one, we need to weave in the end. Our second one, make sure that if you leave a tail long enough, you won't have to attach, and so you can sew on to the next. So I'm going to go ahead and sew in this tail on the front, and this tail on the foundation of my second piece, and I will meet you there so we can sew our face mask together. So I have all my ends weaved in, and I've threaded my needle. So what I'd like to do is take my needle and bring it through all of this here. And the reason why we're going to the top is so that we can start and make sure that we have the correct number of stitching. Okay, so I'm gonna go back a couple of times so I don't tighten the stitch. Of course, this happens. Okay, let's go back to where we were at. That'll help keep it from stretching. Okay, so we're going to take these two and line them up together, and we're going to do a running stitch. So make sure your two shells line up at the chain 1, and then we're going to go through the 2 chains on each one, and we're going to lock this because this will be a stress point, and you would want to make sure that it doesn't come apart. So we're going to go through it twice. So here's 1, And then here's number 2. Now in the process of doing this running stitch, we're only going to pick up 1 chain at a time. So come through here and come up through the center of this 1 chain on the other side. Bring your needle through and then come down to the next one and pick up just the 1, pull it through, and then we'll go to the next. This is what is called a ladder stitch, and we will continue to do this all the way down till we get to the end. So continue doing that, take your time with it, and I'll meet you there. So I'm down here at the bottom. I came through, so now I'm going to take my needle and go back, because this is a stress point. I'm going to go through that a couple of times. The way that we have done it here, this will be the front of the mask, unless you choose to place the other side as the front of your mask. So I'm going to take my thread to the back, and I'm going to go down the stitching and weave in to finish it off. So if you look at our mask after we have sewn it, we do have a nice little curvature for the nose and enough to stretch around the face. I purchased a styrofoam head to get a better display of what the mask will look like on. I know I haven't placed it in the proper area. Now, this styrofoam head is not the same as my head, just to let you know. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to place a chain stitch to wrap around our ears, and then we're going to come down through here and finish our edge. So with a 6-inch tail, we're going to go ahead and place a slip knot on our hook, and we're going to join right here right after that first single crochet with a single crochet. This will be used to weave in your stitching later. Okay, snug up so you don't have any loose ends, and then begin your chain. I'm going to chain 25, but you need to make the chains that will fit right for your ears. So when you place this on your nose and pull it across your face, make a chain, a number that you can keep track of, wrap it around your ears until it touches the bottom. If that number is correct for you, go ahead and remember that, so when we come across to the other side, you can place the same thing with the chain stitches for the other side. And then we will finish here. This is a finished edge. So to let you know what mine was, I placed 20 chains on my hook, and it fits just fine for the halfway version. So after we've done that, we want to make sure that our chain is not twisted. If it is twisted, like mine is, you want to untwist it, so when we loop it over to the other side, we can go ahead and have a nice straight chain, and then we're going to start with a single crochet right here. So go ahead and figure out what you think you need, join with a single crochet, and I'll meet you then. Please pause your video. When you join with the single crochet, make sure you snug it up. We want it to fit properly. Chain 1, single crochet over the last, either a double crochet or single crochet, whatever that stitch is. Chain 1, and then stretch it across to see what you may need. Chain 1, okay, so that you get a nice finish right here. Continue that across, single crochet here, make sure you snug it up, the chains that you need, and we will end with a single crochet here and weave in our ends. At the end of the row of placing both loops on for our ears, let's go ahead and weave in our ends right here, and then we'll move on. The next thing we're going to do to our face mask is we're going to crochet in some strips here that will hold in a filter to help make it so that this face mask is also safe as well as nice to look at. So let's start on that. So with a slip knot on our hook, we're going to come over here. Let's find our center. Here we have 1, 2, and right here, okay, you'll see that you have 2 double crochets and 2 double crochets, and we're going to start off with a single crochet. Remember to snug it up, and then we're going to chain 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, we're going to stretch it down here to the bottom. We're going to come over a couple of rows, and then we're going to place a single crochet so that you can actually see that we have a diagonal here on our row here. And do another single crochet. I try to put it in a place where it wouldn't interfere with the front of the design. Okay, then go back over the chains with a half double crochet, and when you get to the end, we'll finish it off. And we will do it on the same as the other side, right here, and crisscross. So go ahead and do that for both sides, and then we'll be done.